Interesting. That was quick play settings. Unfortunate, but it should be ready this time to just go. And once again, we're entering the match on King's Row. So we'll see if they decide to go with the exact same comp that they chose before, which I think they might do, since they seemed very. I mean, they seem very ready to just go with that comp. Interesting development there. But what can you do? It was a small mistake that I'm sure won't be repeated. Are we correct? We're very correct. That is the exact same team comp as we saw last time. So we don't really need to run down what's going on. Just try and understand the picks. We know Plotch is very good on Zenyatta. He's also pretty good at defense. Showbox on a D.Va, if he's able to charge up the self-destructs very quickly, it should turn out well. The defense matrix, we'll see how effective that can be, because if they're picking tanks like Zarya, Winston, it might not be so effective. The strong Reinhardt, Mercy, Soldier 76, that seemed pretty standard a lot of the time. I think we went through why McCree was good last round, essentially. We didn't get a chance to see it much last time, but hopefully this time we will. We see the first engagement, the Reinhardt's just pushing onto the point. Taken down by Delusional during the fire strike. Very nicely played. We're seeing them taking the high ground. The Mercy not hit by that pin, which is incredibly unfortunate. The Resurrect being used on Nickel Sheep as the Genji takes the health pack. And the point is currently being contested, with the Lucio not quite being able to be taken down. We will need to see some major action coming down from Newcastle, but that looks like the point will be taken, and a regroup will have to start just to get ready for the defense of the point. The barrage being used and the Dragon Blade. Very interesting uses of ultimates. Very well timed also. That's a triple Dragon Blade. That is to get them to respawn much further back than they normally would after they regroup there. Meaning that for a good portion of this section, the cart will get free push. Bamboostic unfortunately being taken down. And the Resurrect having to be used there isn't great. We're seeing Bamboostic taking an aggressive push. We're just getting popped by the fire strikes, the Pharah missiles. What ultimates do we have available? We have Valkyrie and Deadeye. Earthshatter is now ready. And he misses the shield, which made it a huge deal. The Pharah gets taken down with a charge. An interesting one. Bamboostic being pushed backwards, maybe a little bit out of position there. The Valkyrie being used again to Bamboostic and McCree. The counter Earthshatter into Graviton Surge combo is pretty good. The Transcendence from Plotch being able to keep people alive, but he gets taken down after it ends. Nickel Sheep doing a great job keeping everybody up. And that is the point, successfully defended, without losing too much time on that push. Pretty impressive. I really hope I said Gotronics being able to keep those people alive. because I might have misread the name and said someone else. The Dragon Blade comes down once again from the enemy, and the barrage. Both of those charged extremely quickly, and that is a huge issue for the team, taking out 5 members, and Delusional deciding to take the dive, not wanting to feed ultimate charge. That is the first point on the escort part of King's Row being taken. Let's get close to the action. Bamboo Stick, once again, maybe a little bit too far pushed without sufficient assistance. Then the 100 charge with the on the Zarya, very good, being able to output insane damage. But guys, the Mercy's right there. Unfortunately, the Mercy wasn't quite taken down. BKD on Lucio, taking Showbox down. The charge damage, which just went off, made it look like he took huge damage from that. There, Reinhardt, way too far, but the dead eye from McCree taking down both supports. An insane ultimate. But there's 3 minutes remaining to get it 56 meters. Let's watch from Delusional's point of view. Delusional will probably be the team's best line defense against that Genji if he's able to hit the flashbang. But of course, with the reflect, almost so close to taking down that Genji, just missing that second shot, which would have done the job. Tactical Visor is ready. We're seeing Transcendence and Graviton Surge on the go. Graviton Surge comes down. We don't see the Tactical Visor being popped because we don't need it. Dragon Blade and company, the Transcendence keeping everybody alive, hopefully, through that. And Nickel Sheet being taken down. That was an unfortunate use of the ultimate there. The barrage comes down, but this time most of it's taken by Bamboo Stick on the D.Va. Valkyrie's popped by Detronics. We should see some insanely... The self-destruct sequence comes down, falling behind the car and not taking anybody out. We see the Winston swap by Red Team, which is interesting since they're so close. But like I said at the start, the Winston might be an issue for the D.Va. The enemy Graviton Surge comes down, and that Genji really flew. Showbox rocking that 99 charge with the instant Graviton Surge, taking down only 2 members of the Dragon Blade. Once again, not really being able to be answered, and that will be the point and the round for the red team. Being able to push all the way, they only had about a minute remaining, so it's certainly doable for NaCl to just push back, push all the way through, and hopefully get a better time for when they're on defense. I'll take a quick little water break before the match starts in 16.
I will strike our enemies where they do not expect. I can't wait.
Misses in 30 seconds.
Well, I suppose I'd be better as usual.
Let's not waste time. I have tickets to a show tonight. Check this out.
And here we are on the attack. We've seen Delusion on the Genji in Showbox with the Winston pick. The Zenyatta being benched in favour of taking the Lucio. Delusion very quickly jumping onto the high ground. And a quick response from the Winston, who gets taken down, but we'll see that res from the Mercy. Very fast-paced gameplay. In comparison to what we used to, at least. The Nickel Sheep was down, and now Genji's gone. The Winston using his jump more defensively, jumping out of the way so nobody really pays attention to him. The Tactical Visor from Red Team's Soldier 76 is already available. And that will negate the push.
My ultimate is charging.
Time to be young to die.
And we come in back to having self-destruct ready. The self-destruct comes down, takes down the Genji, which I didn't see anybody there. That was quite impressive. Winston's Primal Rage and the Dragon Blade in combination with the Graviton Surge. A very powerful play. But we're seeing the Valkyrie being used by Plotch, keeping everybody alive. Nickel Sheep holding onto that Tactical Visor, probably knowing that you probably won't need to use it on this point. If they're able to take down that Winston, who's really just taking that point for himself. And that should be that capture point taken for Newcastle.
Objective A captured. Escort the payload.
Did someone call for this?
Showbox jumping deep, being followed up by quite a few members of the team. Ooh, and the Primal Rage is popped, and the Mercy just being bullied into the corner. They have clearly a very good focus on being able to kill that Winston, with Showbox dropping to 127 health. And then Nano and the Tactical Visor from the enemy Soldier 76 just cleaning them up once again. Dragon Blade comes down, but are we able to get a good view of it? Not really. That was my bad. Valkyrie is available for Plock, so we will follow that round because that could be some exciting plays. The payload being pushed very aggressively. The red team kind of just seems to be jumping onto it instead of having a solid defense. They need to take time to regroup, get ready for another push. Their Winston ready with that Primal Rage to hopefully just keep him off the point. But he's not contesting it! He's gone straight past and has stopped contesting it. He's instead choosing to bully someone. The sound barrier should hopefully stop that Graviton Surge being quite as effective. But with another Tactical Visor, gets taken down midway through. Showbox running in with that Primal Rage, getting stuff done. Taking the Soldier 76 off of that high ground, which is so good for them. And then they went for it. Interestingly, we saw that Zaya just stop and take the bullets, whereas last round we saw Delusional, in a very similar situation, decide to take the suicide way out. The suicide way is probably better because you don't feed the enemy ultimate charge. That death might tip the favour of a fight in the future. An extra 5% ult charge on your DPS is a big deal. The Dragon Blade comes down. Didn't get a whole lot done. Took down Plotch on the Mercy, which is really limiting Newcastle's healing capabilities. Showbox with a 19-player kill streak. Very impressive. They're going very aggressive on that. See, there are opportunities there where that could have backfired horribly. A couple stray bullets hitting that Winston, and then they're too far up for the Mercy really to come and save him. And get the miss of the pulse bomb. Winston jumping back out of the pit. And with the Primal Rage on the go, he's really just bouncing around. Sound barrier being used not quite soon enough to save Delusional. Oh my goodness! The Dragon Blade and Tactical Visor from Delusional Nickel Sheep takes out 5 members of the enemy team. Very nicely played. I wish I was watching it. And that should be the payload. Very close to being pushed. Showbox taking an aggressive, and there it is. They got the point faster by a good 22 seconds. What we were seeing there were very solid pushes from Newcastle's side, being able to keep the enemy far enough back that they weren't able to respond to attacks on the point. A couple of times we saw, like, when they were pushing onto the first part of the first pip on the payload map, the Winston used his Primal Rage, and instead of contesting it, jumped straight past in order to bully the backline, which, yeah, it's Winston's job, but it's not really going to work out when they're pushing the payload. I feel like maybe they were relying on the fact that they'd all leave the payload and leave him to it. But that didn't happen. Some good hops there by Gatronics. Good sprays as well.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective A.
We have this almost the same defensive comp we saw last time, and the very early 60 seconds remaining. The Winston gets taken down, and he's probably in a position where the enemy Mercy won't be able to resurrect them without getting in a whole lot of trouble. But unfortunately that does mean the Mercy has Resurrect available. Genji getting taken down. Also just too far. 30 seconds remaining. We're going to have to see a strong push from Red Team. The Winston almost getting taken down, but that's going to be a huge amount of ult charge for the Mercy. We are seeing Valkyrie ready for us. The Dragon Blade comes down with the sound barrier, attempting to be an extremely strong push, but nobody's dying. There's the first death. Gatronics gets taken down, and he's straight back up. Self-destruct sequence, I think, just got absorbed by the Winston barrier, which is kind of unfortunate. The Graviton Surge comes down, but it might just be... Not quite the Winston with his little feather duster being able to do huge amounts of damage in that Graviton Surge. But there it is. Round 3 for red team is over. And they weren't able to get the point. That was a very strong defense. Unfortunately, that Winston almost dealt insane damage. We see Newcastle only needs to get the first third in order to win. We're seeing the spectator giving tips to Augustus. When you're high charge, you need to bully the enemy. Yeah, it's a good. Not sure why we can. Isn't that team? Isn't blue? So team chat is currently being able to be read by everyone. Which is that's an interesting issue. I'm not sure how that would have happened. So good thing they won't put strategies in the team chat and instead on the Discord. We see that Bastion pick. The Bastion and Orisa defensive picks. The Bastion taking down the Diva mech very quickly. Shovog's getting taken down by the Bastion. Diva mech ready and going. Bastion getting taken down. And the res being used on the Bastion, an interesting decision. Oh, but will he get taken down? Not quite. Dragon Blade is available, but will he use it? Probably not. He was very close to being killed. But with only two members of the red team alive on the point, we're probably going to see a Newcastle victory. There's a Mercy behind you guys. But this one is just a trickle. They're trickling in, and we should be able to see. No! It's so close! He's so close, but the Bastion gets a triple kill with his configuration tank. But it's not going to be enough, and there is the game to Newcastle. That was surprisingly close.
Play of the game.
Arulu as the Genji getting play of the game. A very strong showing, not even using not even needing the Dragon Blade. It doesn't matter. They unfortunately for them, they didn't win. A very interesting defensive comp at the end. I'm not sure I would have risked it. The Orisa Bastion sounds good, but when the spawn is so far away, you do not want to be sacrificing any mobility. The Reinhardt, probably important to have.